Greetings everyone. Welcome again to our automation show where we talk about how we can automate our business processes. On every session, we take a different use case where we talk about that how we can implement the automation for that particular use case, what could be the potential tool that we can use from the Microsoft stack, right? So today as well we have another topic. So we are going to talk today about purchase order automation. So here is the agenda for today. So we will start with our basic introduction about the use case that we are going to discuss today, and then we will see that what could be the proposed solutions. Okay, so what we think that this could be a potential solution for the automation of this use case, and then we will discuss the tools that we are going to use in our automation. So we will talk about Business Central, that's ERP from Microsoft, and we will talk about our workflow automation tool Power Automate, and then we'll talk about Teams and Outlook that we use for the notification for on team chat or sending email on that Outlook. And then we will have the demo of this use case where we will show that how we can build automation for this particular use case. Okay, so let's jump into our topic. So before jumping, let's have a quick introduction about ourselves. So myself Mahender, and I have my friend Sandeep Mishra with me. We both are Microsoft MVP as well as CSharpCorner MVPs. So we have been working on this Microsoft stack. It's more than 10 years now. So working on different applications or different technologies. So we are here. So I will be taking care of that use case. I will discuss all these tools and all, and then after that I will pass mic to my friend Sandeep, who will be taking care of the demo. Okay, so let's jump into our use case. Okay, so we are going to talk about today purchase order approval process. Okay, so let's first understand like what is purchase order. Okay, so every company, every organization, every firm, whether it's a small firm or the big firm, okay, everyone have their own budget for the year, for the particular quarter, right? And based on that budget they buy new things, or if that is it could be anything. It could be some material that is required by their machines, or it could be new machines, or it could be your IT equipment, depending on what type of business you are doing. So all the purchases are basically done within that budget that is allocated for that particular time period, right? So which basically like depends on that sales. There are many factors that how they allocate those budgets on, just like when we have our budget, right, in India. So in our budget we have different budget allocated on different things, like there is some budget on the defense, there is some budget on the IT, there is some budget on the medical, right? So that kind of thing. In same way, in organization, in companies also, the budget is allocated for this particular purchase, right? So whenever we want to purchase something, that purchase need to be reviewed by the number of teams, depending on for which department you are buying that your machinery stuff or software or equipment, whatever, depending on your business. Okay, that need to go on the different teams, and every team review that, who all are related, right, who are concerned team. So those person will review that orders, and they will see that okay, the purchase that we are going to do, this is under our budget and that is required. It's not unnecessary we are spending money on something that is not required or that is out of our allocated budget, right? So that process basically we call it as a purchase order approval process. Normally this type of thing, if you are using some tool for this transformation, like you are using part of the digital transformation, right, and you are using some kind of ERP, then it can be some ERP software. Or if you are not a big company, you are a small company, then you could have some other small software where you manage this process. Okay, So in our case, we are going to take it as a ERP. When you are using some ERP, in that ERP, how you handle that process, and what could be the potential solution for automation of this process, where we want to make approval of the purchase order, right? So as I said that we have different type of team, which is concerned on that. So when we create, purchase order, that should give some notification to this concerned team that okay, there is some purchase order created, so that in the timely manner, they can review that and they can see that okay, what is the item, what is the price. So those kind of thing can be reviewed and then approved in the timely manner, so that it can be purchased within that particular time frame. Okay, so that's what we are going to handle today. And now, based on our proposed solution, based on our thought on that this could be a potential solution for automating this process. Okay, so we are here basically taking, as I said, that we are going to talk about that ERP. So we are taking business central ERP. That's basically small to mid-sized company use for that ERP operations. So we are going to use this tool. So when the purchase order is created into business central, how we can implement that approval process. So that's what we are going to talk. And then once this is created, it will be triggered in the Power Automate. So Power Automate is basically we are using for the workflow logic, that okay, if some trigger happened, what we need to do. Okay, so workflow, this Power Automate will take care of fetching the data from there and deciding that okay, which department it will go and where the team need to send that notification or send that Outlook email. So for this we are going to use this Power Automate. And then teams will be for the approval process. Okay, so making it faster so that they can easily get a notification on the team and they can quickly review that. And then we can also include some reference on that and they can approve it. And once this complete process is done, whether it's approved or rejected, then sending this notification to the concerned team, so that they know that okay, this particular purchase order is approved or this is rejected by the team. So that's the potential solution that we are going to discuss. Okay, so business central. So business central, as I said, that this is basically used by the mid to small to mid-sized companies, and that's part of the Microsoft Dynamics 365 app. So just like we have that first party app from that Microsoft, like sales, field service, all those, this is basically the ERP side of app which we use for the ERP function. So ERP is basically where we do that, like complete set of like what we can do in traditional CRM, that can be also done in the ERP, because ERP also have a small module for that managing their customer and their sales as well. So but it has a very limited functionality on that. But apart from that, it has more capabilities on the financial side. So it has more taxation, more way to generate that purchase order, more approval process are there, or how you deal your invoicing, how you do your taxing, all that. If there is some particular taxation that you need to apply, those can be done here on the ERP. So we have different modules that's part of the ERP. So for example, some marketing modules, some HR modules. So we can also create our own custom modules. So this is basically completely resource planning application is there, that what we are going to use for generating that purchase order. So if some purchase order is created on the business central, then how it will interact with the other tool, that for example the Power Automate, that's what we are going to use. Okay, so Power Automate, basically that's our core tool that we use for the workflow automation, where we take data from that connected application. So whenever normally what we do, we bound this Power Automate with a particular trigger that is from the related application. So in our case today, that's Business Central. So as you can see here on the Business Central in the right hand side, these are the different actions. These are the different actions and triggers that is available. And we can see here it's basically Dynamics 365 Business Central, and there is a diamond here. Okay, which means that when you want to use this particular connector, you need to you get a premium license for that. Okay, so there are some connector that is freely available. So for example, if you are connecting with some SharePoint, so you don't need any particular premium license. But if you want to use like Dataverse is also premium connector, and in this case as well, you need to buy premium connector. Only after that you can use these actions, these triggers that is part of the Business Central. Okay, so we can use these triggers. So once these trigger will happen, Power Automate going to fetch that data from this particular application, and then we have different type of controls that is available. Like we can apply if else, we can apply switching there, we can perform looping there. Depending on the scenario, we can use different type of control, and then we can identify what action we want to perform. Okay, so just an example, let's say if there is a purchase order and there is a particular amount, if we want to say that if the amount is greater than this, only then we require approval. Okay, so those kind of control we can place easily on the Power Automate. So there is a drag and drop, and you can just take those actions, apply those controls, and then you can perform your flow, right? You can decide that how you want to design your flow. You can put on the different steps there. Okay, based on that control. And then further, what other tools that we want to use, that we can here basically, the next one is the Microsoft Teams. Okay, so as I said that when you are working on this kind of approval process, response should be there in a required time period, right? So for example, let's say if I want to get some kind of a product, or we need some kind of a critical software that is required for our project, and that we have the project delivery, and before that maybe we suddenly got some kind of utility that is required for our application. Okay, so if we will release that purchase order, we need to get that approval within the time frame, right? So that we can also release our project. Okay, so if let's say, if just an example, if let's say we are sending email notification for this approval, they will get that email, of course, but maybe there are some other emails and they are not looking those all the emails, right? So there can be delay on that. But instead of that, if we are using Microsoft Teams, they will immediately get the notification. And most of the companies who are basically using Microsoft tools, or they are using Microsoft stack, they are using Microsoft Team for their day-to-day communication, right? So as soon as we will generate this approval, we will initiate the approval from the Power Automate, they will get the notification, and under that approval we can include the details. Okay, that these are the purchase order details, and if required, we can also post their URL so that they can click on that and they can open that Business Central purchase order, then they can review full details from there. So that can be also done using the Teams approval. Okay, and they will get a button where they can just say approve or reject. Depending on that, if they will click on approval, and let's say this purchase order approved, then we can in the Power Automate check that, okay, what is the response, if it is approved or rejected, right? And then based on that particular response, we can apply the control, and we can say that, okay, this is approved, then we need to do further action. Maybe there is multiple approval required. So once that is approved by one team, maybe we want to pass that to the next team, second team, so that after this there is another team, we need approval from that team as well. Okay, Or if it is a rejected, then maybe we need to send notification that whoever created this purchase order, we need to update them that your purchase order is rejected, or maybe there are some changes that you need to do, and maybe resend this purchase order so that they can review after the refinement of the purchase order, right? So those kind of things we can easily do on the Microsoft Teams. We have these connectors and the triggers and actions available under that Microsoft Team connector. So we can utilize these and perform these kind of approval process using Power Automate. Okay, now another one that we are using for the notification, that okay, that final approval is done. Now we are properly sending a message that okay, this purchase order is approved, and then you can initiate your further process and you can send this purchase order to, you can create a actual order for that. Okay, maybe there is some pre entity record is created where we want to verify few things. Only after that we will create actual purchase order. So maybe that can be also done depending on the scenario. Okay, so that's what we have here in that Outlook. So after sending this notification, that can be complete this particular approval process. So that's what the tool that we wanted to use into this potential solution. Now we will showcase the demo. I will pass mic over to my friend Sandeep, and he will showcase the demo that how this purchase order approval we can implement using these tools. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mahender. Let me share my screen.
Okay, so we
Is
are
it visible?
no, it's loading now. Yeah, we can see it. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. So in our previous sessions, we already discussed that how you can access Power Automate. But for the benefit of the new user, you will just click on Launch menu, and there you can see Power Automate. Also, if you have Business Central license, you can also access Business Central from here. So let's go back to the Power Automate and the flow I created. This is the flow where the first trigger you can see, that is the create record, because in business in Business Central we have just connectors like based on the very high level, like create record, update record, get the list, get the item. So that's why, like, once you will you are creating anything in Business Central, you need to select the trigger, that is create. Once you will select the create, you need to select the environment. And I have two environments you can see here, like one is sandbox, one is production. So based on like the number of environments you have, that is what you can access from here. Then once you will select the environment, the next thing you need to select, that is the company. If you have multiple companies, you will get in this list, and that is what you can select. You can see I have two companies, so I have the default company and one company I created. So that is what you will select. After that, you can see the first thing we have, that is header first condition. So whenever you are working with any ERP system and you are creating any document, mainly you will have two types of like two types in every document. One is header and one is line item. So that's why you can see like the header first condition, that is document type, and document type is order. So here you might be thinking that why we don't have purchase order. In case like the when we are creating a document type, these are the types in, that is what you can use. So let me just open this. So for purchase order, you just need to refer order. For purchase invoices, you just need to refer invoices, credit memo, and quote, and blanket orders. Like when you want to create one order and receive like every month a recurring kind of. So in that case, you will create this kind of. So these are the values you need to add here in document type when you are creating a trigger. And then we have the status. Status is open. It means that you will just create a purchase order. When status will be open, then only this trigger will run, otherwise it will not run. And then like the header, third condition, we have all the header variables. That is what you can select from here. So here we are using amount including VAT, that is not less than 0. If you want to see more values, you can see we have some line item conditions. For example, after header, you also want to add some item conditions. If line item is this, or you added some value in line item, based on that you want to send approval, you can also select three conditions for line items. So these are the value, that is what you will add here, and you will set up your trigger value. After that, like in some cases when you are sending email, you want to get that URL, and that is what you will send in email. So if person just want to look at the purchase order in Business Central, they will click and go to the Business Central page. So for that, like again, like in every connector, what you have to do is you need to select the environment, then after you need to select the company, and then the workflow endpoint, that is the API category we have, and the table name is workflow purchase order document, and then the body row ID. For that you don't have to do anything. You will just click here, and you can see all the trigger values. We have body row ID, environment name, company name, and the workflow step ID, and then the requested by user, the user who is requesting in Business Central. So these are the values you are getting from the trigger. Then the next thing you can see, like you need to get the detail, like detail of the user in your environment. That is what you can use using get user detail. So I'm just taking the value. If you click here, trigger value request, like the person who is requested, and we are by email address, I just want to get their email address, name, and all those details. That is what we can use in email or when we are sending messages. Then after that we have like the approval. So here we have multiple conditions. You can see like the everyone must approve. Why? Like if you want that you are sending approval to 3 or 4 people, and you want just even the first person can approve, the request will be approved. In that case, you can see the first two response, wait for all responses, wait for one responses, or everyone must approve. So in case of like the purchase order or any commercial thing, that is what we use, everyone must approve. So that's the condition we have here. And then we have like detail when we are sending this message, what message we are going to send. So an approval requested by the name, the person who is requesting for the purchase order, and the purchase order number totaling the amount we have here for the, also the vendor must be approved. And then we have the URL we created using get URL, and then the purchase order number, and here we are just using the requester email address. So this is how you will set the approval request. And after that, we just need to set the message for it. Here you can see like the we have initialized variable. There we have the header, just header part, and after that we are composing the message using apply to each. So whatever value we are getting from our, like once this request will be approved, so we are just adding here, like we are getting comments, we are getting like the response and the name, and that is what we are appending to the our first variable. And then we are adding the end of the table, that is t body and table. So by this we will able to create a complete table structure. And then the next thing is like we have switch case. So here whatever outcome we are getting, that is what we are passing in this switch case, and then we are checking if it is approved, like equal to approved, then we will run this flow, that uh, approved action. In approved actions we are just updating the status of this flow, and then we are sending a email message, like send email to the person, like the person requester. And if it is false, in that case we are just terminating. In case of reject, we are just rejecting the action, we are not doing anything, and then we are sending email to the approval, also the same case, like we are terminating. In some cases, like by technical issue, because in like 95% cases we will get either approve either reject, but in some cases might be due to the technical glitch or something, we will get some other value. In that case, we are just canceling the request. We are not doing anything because that's not the approved value. In that case, we'll just send the email address and then we also terminate. So this is the flow we have. uh, like first we are triggering the this flow, then we are getting the record, we are getting the URL, we are getting user detail, then sending the approval, then we are creating a variable, and then we are sending email. The email body, you can see the response we created here, that is what we are sending. And also we are composing a dynamic message using the values we have, uh, using all these steps. And then the requester, we are sending to the requester. One more thing I just want to highlight here, like assigned to. So if you want to add more people, like one, two, or three people to approve this request, that is what you can add here as a comma separator. You will just select from your organization, and you will add one people or more than one people to approve this particular request. So the next step is I will just go to the Business Central and I will create a new purchase order. If you don't know how to access, the thing is you will go here and you will click on my settings, and here you will select the inventory manager. In that case, you will able to access sales and purchase. And in sales and purchase, you will just select purchase order, and you will land on the purchase order list. So from here you will click on new. We'll select the vendor from here. So I'm going to select the first vendor, and the vendor number, if you know, like this is depend on like what the vendor number you have, that is what you can, invoice number you can add. But this is not like based on every organization, so I will just add it. I will select the item, so I will select item from here, and then the quantity. So now you can see like we added, and this will be automatically saved. You don't have to do anything. We'll go back to the this flow, and I will click on test, click on manual, and we'll start the test. I will go back to the purchase order. So for send the approval, you can see like request approval. We have send approval request. By default, if you will send from here, what is happening is the person should come here in Business Central and approve this request. But in our case, to make our process faster, we want that it should be approved by the person on email or using Microsoft Teams. So once you will send, you can see like this will trigger this Power Automate flow. So we just wait for it. So we send the request. You can see like this flow is triggered. So now we are getting the user detail, and now it's waiting for the approval. So if I will go in my inbox, I will just click here, refresh. So it's not loading there, but it's here. So I will just, I hope it is visible. I think it's not visible. So I just got that. So you can see here we have two buttons. One is approve and one is reject. So based on like you will just click on this particular link, it will take you on the purchase order page. You will just review and click on approve. So once you will click on approve, the comment you want to add, like approved, and you will submit. Let's go back to the flow, and you can see like uh, it's going to the switch case, and then the approved flow. So now the person will get email who has requested. So you can see and once you will approve the status, you can see that status will change to the release. So let me refresh. So if I go, this is what I created, like 19. So you can see the status is by default released. Because if you will try to approve any of this opened purchase order, you will not able to really change the status from here, because you need approval process. So this is how, like, even without logging in the business central, you will just create this power automate flow and able to approve purchase order using power automate flow, Microsoft Teams and Outlook. So you can see I got the message like the approval Sandeep Mishra approved and comment is approved. So this is the way, this is how you can easily create the way, like already Mahender explained, in when you are working with the ERP system, in most of the cases you are creating a document and you want that document should be approved by some respective person, like whoever assigned for that. So in that case you can easily create a trigger. You can select the document, like whether it is purchase order or the invoicing or the quotation, and the person will just review the flow, like document, and approve it. So this is what from my side. Now I will hand over the stage to my friend Mahender.
Yeah, so just want to add here right now, like we are, I think we are not connected with the Microsoft Teams. Otherwise, it will get that
Yeah,
notification in the
actually,
Teams where
no, no,
we will get this approval as well.
I will also show that, like, it's not just that we will get notification on Outlook as well. We also
Yeah,
get here.
so that.
Yeah. So just a second, let me. So we'll get notification at both places.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, let me switch back to the. So you can see, like, here I have the approved this request. This is already approved. So you can see,
Yeah.
like, this is how you will get a notification, and you can also approve from here as well, not only using emails, right? And by default, like, you can also go here, search in like workflows, and you will go here. So if you see, like, purchase order here, condition is like if document is order status is open. So person who has approval, like, uh, approval authority in business central, the person will also able to approve from the home page. Here they will get the uh, document, like you can say request to approve, so they can also approve from here as well.
Yeah, so like as ERP have that inbuilt approval process, but like as Sandeep said that when we want to have this kind of approval, they need to come to the business central and there they can approve this, right? So let's take an example when, let's say, we are working on different locations, right? Sometimes let's say that whoever is the approval authority, that is they are not having access to the business central at that moment. Okay, so maybe they can get just in their phone, they have the team app connected there and they can get the notification and they can easily approve from there itself, right? So it will
Yeah,
faster that approval process, so there won't be unnecessary delay on that. So that's why we have proposed this solution, that using the power automate we can complete this approval process within a specific time interval or in a fast way, and then we can work on that, and as a response of that approval we can further go ahead and create, if required we can create records as well on the business central using that action that is part of the power automate for this business central connector. Okay,
yeah, I mean,
so yeah, so that's what. Mhm. Please go ahead.
I'm
Yeah.
saying that that is what giving, like, even though you are approving from a business central, we need notification. We want that, like using our mobile or using Outlook, we just get notification, and by default we can approve from there. So that kind of ease we are getting, and that is the most important thing you can see. Like, even though the feature is available in business central, but if you go to the business world, they're mostly looking for this kind of feature where they can just go on their email or just go on Microsoft Teams and approve from there. So that kind of ease you will get using this automation, this flow.
Yeah, and that is the basically purpose of the automation, to completely do this digital transformation and how quickly you can perform your activity. So that's basically, is the automation is that we are doing, so that we can complete our job, we can complete our task, whatever tasks we have, we can do this on a
Correct.
using these automation quickly and get that response and actively, work on that and react on that. Yeah.
Correct.
So
Yes.
yeah, that's what we wanted to cover in today's session. So in next session, we will come back with another idea. So we will showcase another use case and we will discuss another tools from the Microsoft stack, that how we can use those tools to automate that particular use case. So thanks for joining us, and make sure to watch all our old sessions, that is part of the C Sharp Corner live TV. You can watch them on the YouTube or C Sharp Corner, live TV. All the sessions are there. Feel free to provide
Yes.
your feedback. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.